We on?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're going to try to do this as quick as possible so that you stay engaged and we stay engaged. I'm Melissa. This is my partner, Kate. This is not my daughter. There is a vast age difference, and that's cool too. Born and raised in Texas, and fortunate to find my partner, Kate, who migrated to Texas 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago. Awesome.
From Chicago.
From Chicago. There you go. So a little bit of my story is that, sorry, we're kind of watching all of our dogs out here on the property at the same time. I, being in Texas, born and raised, definitely had Republican conservative parents. I'm 49 years old right now. Had a very conservative religious background, raised in that, came out when I was 21 years old. I did natural pushback from that. My parents did a natural pushback from that, but I still remained conservative. I had a son with, you're watching the pups. That's okay. I had a son with my first relationship that I was in for 10 years. He's now 21 years old. Amazing guy. And I've lived in small town Texas now, raising my son for pretty much his entire life, about the past 19, 20 years. No issues, no
discrimination.
No discrimination. Oh, good. No discrimination. Thank you. Until I voted for Trump. And then when I voted for Trump, I began to be shut down. And not so much from, somewhat from gay friends, but mainly from straight liberals, probably because most of my friends, being in a rural Texas town, are straight and not gay. So I'll give that credit where credit is due. So I'm very excited about this movement because Kate and I discuss frequently, every day, political
happenings.
And Kate is 30 years old. I'm 49 years old. So we, of course, come from,
very different backgrounds,
age gaps, all that stuff. And in this movement that has been happening, so most of the pushback that I have been given is from straight liberal friends, because most of the people that I associate with, because we are in rural Texas, I have more straight friends than I have gay friends. And I come from a large city. I come from Houston, Texas, where most of my friends were gay. So, anyways, that's been an interesting dynamic.
And I'm from Chicago. My family is very Democrat and raised in that Catholic Democrat. And I was a history major in college. Went through public school systems and state university, and just started, seeing some trends of political ideology that I didn't agree with. So I haven't actually voted in my adult life so far, and I'm 30. Will be voting for Trump in 2020. this also isn't meant to be a huge endorsement for Trump video, but we are just really excited about this movement because I didn't vote because, I mean, I called Obama winning by a landslide in the first election just seeing the media coverage. And so we're really just excited about people being able to talk about more diverse ideas without being constrained to just liberal or just conservative, or just kind of breaking away of what the perceptions of those are. Because that's, something that I couldn't, jump onto when I became of legal voting age. I just really had distrust for politicians at that time. And knowing a bit of history about like the international banking systems and things like that, it's like, well, this is still kind of like status quo, whatever. And it wasn't until Trump where I really was really interested. I didn't vote for him, but the subsequent actions that are being taken, not in a purely selfish way, but there is this idea of being self-sustainable in general as a movement. And I think we kind of also have to do that as a country to even be able to facilitate helping other countries or other people who are really in need. But we just have a lot going on here that can be sorted through, there's so many systems, and this administration and this leader is really starting to break away some of those things that we considered norm. And I think that's kind of what the WalkAway thing is more about, of the status quo isn't the status quo anymore. Like gay rights, yes,
been there, done that.
Been there, done that, women's rights.
Been there, done that.
Right. Your content of character has no basis on the color of your skin. Like, as Americans, we've kind of gone through that, and kind of seeing a little bit of the manipulation of the Democratic Party in particular, is it's that, there's a manipulation of those things where if you're any sort of minority, whether you're, a woman or of a different ethnic race or sexual orientation, they kind of like own you from the womb. And that's not a dichotomy that Americans are comfortable with anymore, and nor should they be.
Right.
And so we are just so excited that this movement came about.
Right.
And
kudos to you, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
We are I personally, I can't speak for Kate, my partner, but have been gay, conservative, Christian, raising a child in small town rural Texas for 21 years. My son, we're looking for our dogs. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're making sure our dogs aren't leaving the property. 21 years. I've never had any discrimination, pushback, anything until I voted for Trump. And all of a sudden, I could not speak about anything. I could not speak about anything. Yeah. And now here we are. So let's go. And we're super excited that we're super impressed that we're not speaking back with any sort of
animosity,
hate. What we've definitely come to the agreement on is that, my goodness, if we're going to have any sort of dialogue, we will have to stay in a space of compassion.
Certainly.
In compassion for the ideology that has been pushed and pushed and pushed, and we understand.
Oh, certainly.
because we've had that ideology pushed on us, and we don't agree with that ideology, and so now we can come to the table with a conversation of compassion for having had that ideology pushed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, certainly. I think it's kind of like it's a community thing. It's like a humanitarian thing, right? Of just kind of coming to the table and, seeing what our values are as American citizens, as a community.
Right.
And, strengthening those things so they can be, expressed, or, a good example of leadership to the rest of the world, of what our Constitution has laid out. Because we're pretty much more, like, I'm a constitutional republic libertarian,
Way
more
smarter
than
than
an
me.
actual conservative.
Way smarter than me.
Not in all things, that's for sure.
But in most, way smarter than me. All right, guys, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I don't know how to stop it.
Oh, shit, I don't know.